What is going on, guys and girls? It's the Short Bear. Before we start, I just wanted to quickly say that we are having a sale. Take advantage of it and get up to 30% off using the code TurkeyYear or 20% off using the code TurkeyMonth. I'll see you in chat. What is going on, guys and girls? It's the Short Bear, and today we're going to talk about ARAV. This is a very, very particular trade and very different trade from what we are used to see. So I wanted to take some time today to kind of talk over everything. I want to explain to you how this trade came along, why exactly I shorted it at 28, what the fundamentals were, and the news. All right, so I'm going to take every single aspect and kind of break it down for you all. And yeah, I'm going to show you why this one was such a particular trade. So everything kind of started with KRTX. All right, KRTX is a ticker that traded in a $20 range and completely ripped. So first day we moved from $30 all the way to $100, and the second day we moved kind of from the $90 area all the way above 150. So after a move like that, people are looking for the next big stock to rip, right? This one, KRTX, was one of the first ticker after APDN. Let me show you. All right, APDN. APDN, my bad. Ripped from kind of the $6 range all the way up to near 20 before offering some shares. All right, that's the ticker we talked about last week. And after that, people were kind of looking for the next ticker, right, to make a move over $10 to really start ripping, and we got KRTX. All right, the next ticker one day later was CNST. CNST, same thing, right? We started off kind of at $15 and moved all the way to 45, right? That's the second ticker now, right? So people that missed KRTX are going to start, FOMOing into other trades. They are, they don't want to miss the next big thing, the next big ticker, kind of make a move. And CNST comes one day later, rips all the way from 15 to 45. People, are expecting now that we're going to see more of those tickers, right? Those tickers don't break down, all right? So APDN didn't break down on the first day, and then we got KRTX that didn't break down either, and now we've got CNST one day later that rips, and that comes back in the end, right, on this one, but still, like, it make a huge move. So people are expecting it to, continue. After that, we got MYOV, right? So that one a bit different on this one, but still kind of the same idea, right? Opens at 13, rips to 17, a nice $4 mover, and midday it kind of tanked. We took advantage of that as well. But still, people are seeing those tickers kind of rip over 10, and they're making huge moves, pre-market as well, because you can't see pre-market here, but it started really ripping from like $7 all the way to like 15 pre-market, or $10, 10, $12. If I remember correctly. And now people, are seeing it as kind of a normal thing, right? They're FOMOing into everything. Everything that starts running over $10 is ripping. So the next ticker that kind of came along was ARAV. Now you can't really see what was happening, right? Because if you look at that chart, you're like, all right, $7 kind of opened at near 14 and then tanked all the way under 10, right? But it's not it, right? Because pre-market, it started ripping towards, $30. And I started shorting at $30. But before we talk about that, I'm going to show you exactly what is so different about those tickers, right? So if you look at the filings on all the tickers I just talked about, right? So everything kind of started with APDN. All right, so APDN, as you can see, we had one offering, but before that, we didn't have really anything substantial. I mean, in 2018, we had, a few shares right there, but there wasn't much, at the price range we were at right now. Most of the, warrants were kind of higher because of the 1 to 40 reverse stock split on that one. And if we look at the other tickers, I mean, KRTX, people were maybe looking at that 44 before, but they didn't realize this one is the IPO. All right, here, this is the initial offering. So that's the IPO. And then, I mean, we look at the other tickers as well, right? So, which ticker did we see again? CNST. All right, so that one, we look at it, we see, all right, 44 before 2018. And what do we see here? This is an initial public offering, all right? So IPO as well. So people are chasing stocks, all right? They are not looking at really the dilution aspect or whatever, right? Because maybe they checked the first time, right? Maybe the first ticker, APDN, all right, and they saw no dilution. The dilution came the next day, right? And, they move on after day one. They see, KRTX. They see, no dilution, or maybe they saw the wrong dilution, right? And then they look at CNSD. They see no dilution as well, right? And then we see that one ticker, right? ARAV. Now, I looked at the dilution on every single ticker, right? And people maybe didn't check. I'm pretty sure most, FOMOing and more beginner traders, didn't look really at the filings. But I was watching, right? And what did I see? Well, first of all, I was looking at the news, right? And I kind of compared everything to what I felt like was kind of the same sector, right? So I was looking at KRTX, right? The biggest runner, people are kind of looking at it to figure out where AV is going to head on to. As you can see right here, the news was basically a biotech, right? So all those tickers we just talked about are usually about, biotechs, all right? Biotechs and over $10. That's kind of where we're standing at. People are looking at those two factors. And as you can see right here, KRTX, that's pretty much the news right here, right? So KRTX announces met primary endpoint in phase 2, right? So that's phase 2 news. And then you look at everything else basically, so CNST or whatever, right? And let's see if I can find the news on this one. Yeah, can't find the news on this one, but basically it doesn't really matter, right? So I was looking at ARAV, comparing it to KRTX, and I just, was seeing this news. So 12 days ago, ARAV is, just posted news, right? 12 days ago about the initiation of the phase 1/2 study of AVB 500, right? Did we get any reaction to that on the 12th, right? That's this day here. Nothing, right? We're trading 6.7K volume, right? So nothing. There's just no volume whatsoever, no real excitement about the start of that phase 1/2 news. Nothing really, right? And then we see, a few days later, we see this news here. ARAV positive data supporting the relationship between AVB 500 levels, anti-tumor activity, and progression-free survival, blah, 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 right? So they had 31 patients right here in that clinical trial, of that new drug. And, it's phase 1. It's phase 1. It's basically nothing. It's the first stage in that drug. They're not going to make any money, until, they get the phase 3 and they get, the FDA approval, which is going to take years probably, right? So nothing over there, the news is just really crappy. It's nothing that should, make a stock move, in my opinion. And, the only thing they got is basically that the word cancer is in there. So people are really, get excited. They're more positive about it. And, we've got also the word drug and then phase 1 and positive data in the title, right? So looking at that, I mean, the reaction is completely something else, right? We've got 14 million traded on the day, 15 even against 7,000 shares traded on the day the phase 1 news or the trial start came out. So from there, I'm excited, right? So I'm not getting overexcited about a short trade because I didn't check the dilution. at this point yet, but that's the next step, right? So the next step for me is going to be, I want to know what the float is. The float is 5.7 million, all right, perfect. It's kind of in that level where the stock can move and make nice moves, volatile, and at the same time, it's not as small where I start, to be worried about float rotation and so on, right? Those kind of things where a stock can really rip. After that, I'm looking at the insider and institutional ownership under 30%. I'm happy with that. And then the short percentage of the float, less than 1%. So there's no one really to really squeeze at that point when the run starts. After that, I'm looking at the dilution, all right? And that's where it really gets interesting because I showed you what the other tickers were looking like, and now, I'm looking at the dilution, I'm looking at the 10K, and I click on this 44B5, right? And I see we have entered an equity distribution agreement with Piper Jeffrey for up to 20.25 million. This, is an ATM. So let me show you. Oops. All right, the offering. Let's see. So common stock to be outstanding after this offering, up to 13.75 shares, assuming the sale of all the shares, all right? So that's really, really, really nice, right? So we got the 5 million shares, in the float, and we're gonna get up to 13 million shares, but it really depends on the ATM, where it gets dumped at, and so on and so on, right? So after that, we look at the plan of distribution. It's an at-the-market offering, all right? Knew that from before, but if you want to check, go to the offering, look at the plan of distribution, and you're going to see exactly what it's about. So in this case, it's an ATM, right, for 20.25 million. That changes everything for me, all right? So if you look at every single other ticker over 10, we see, APDN, KRTX, CNST, MYV, and so on and so on. They didn't have as much dilution, all right, in the range of the run. And on this one, we have a 20.25 million ATM, and the news is so weak, right? Every single time you see a huge runner, the next days and weeks, you're gonna see huge fades because everyone is chasing in the hope of catching that new big runner, right? They miss the first runner, they get FOMO, they chase everything. And then you've got that one ticker where they really take advantage. So they start pushing it, everyone's like, all right, that's the next one. They start buying, and they just start selling into that buying volume, which allows them to dump so much more, right? So that's exactly what they're gonna do. All right, so they're gonna start dumping the shares. So now I've got the news, all right? I've got every single kind of beginner trader, more, emotional trader that are all on the same side, right? The long side, trying to long, and that gives me such an edge, right? So everyone on the same side, I've got dilution, I've got, the history of the other tickers, and the news is super weak. So that's when, I make my plan and I decide, all right, I want to attack. Now, I posted on Twitter before. On this one, I posted right away at 7 a.m. So before I even entered, everyone's chasing, everyone's FOMOing. This one is the first ticker over $10 that has a lot of dilution. I think they're gonna get slapped like crazy. I think this ticker is gonna get wrecked. All right, so that's what I wrote. It's timestamped, and I posted it on Twitter just after I posted my trade. And after that, it's pretty much all technical analysis, right? So kind of tape reading, technical analysis, and this is what I saw, right? So first of all, 7 a.m. low volume starts, getting up there, some more volume trading right here, 10, 20,000 shares per minute. And then we get this pullback on lower volume, and we start getting up there, right? And I see the volume is kind of increasing, and I'm thinking, all right, so we just gapped up from $6. We're at 27 at that time, or 26. All right, and I'm thinking I want to start in this. I want to start in. I want the idea to work. I'm gonna start trading. So right here, side kind of get weak over here at kind of that breakout area. Tries breaking out, comes back down. So I start in right here, right? So that's my first entry, and I had some room towards 30. So starts moving up, rejects right away. All right, weakness, lower volume after that, kind of in this consolidation rejection area at 28, 29. and I start, getting some more, and as it moves up, so I was expecting a rollover right here. It starts moving up, I start trimming a bit of my position because now we're getting to my risk level. It started breaking down, couldn't make it, and reclaim, so I'm trimming some, and as soon as I see this kind of dark cloud cover, right, so got that big green candle showing a lot of power, a lot of strength, and then right away we slam back down. The volume is bigger than the buying candle right here, showing me, we're not going to make it, right? It's starting to get really weak. Sellers are taking over, and I hit everything I could. So here, right there, I was pretty much fully positioned, more than right here, because now I've got my perfect entry, right? They push it, get the stops, and then they dump it to get basically a more buying power right here, more of the shorts covering. So I enter here, and it starts, breaking down. So first, that was the first sign of weakness. People are still buying. Tries to break down, can't make it. Lower volume, big selling volume, bigger than before. And as soon as we started breaking down and kind of tried pushing back into the range, couldn't make it. I added some more, thinking, all right, now my stop was 30. Now after those ads, I'm risking the high of day. And now that we're, under the support and bouncing, I'm thinking, all right, if we reclaim that kind of support line right here over 27, I'm going to trim one half, and the other half is going to be over the high of day. I'm trying to build as much size as I can and kind of risk the same amount, being kind of, the same risk level. So after that, right away starts rolling over back into the previous range. I love that. Didn't add any in here because I felt like, all right, this might even bounce to 27 and then roll over back. I'll test the area again, but weakness right away. And now we're, back at the lows of this range. So now I really, really like it. The selling pressure is still there. The tape was looking like there were bids asked, and as soon as there was a big bid, we just took him out, basically taking the liquidity. And as soon as we tried popping, the offers were showing 100 shares and absorbing thousands. So comes back down, builds this kind of range, and as soon as we're kind of in the downtrend, I'm looking for two waves move. I keep on telling you that in chat, for you guys that are in chat, I'm looking for two waves up. So in this case, we're trying to build a range. We're getting, one wave up, kind of retesting the support, and then we, break over the resistance. So that's a really nice area for them to kind of search for liquidity, search for the stops, and sell more into that buying power that is coming in. So as soon as I saw it pop, I'm like, all right, I want to add 24s, but it stops right away. Tries to bounce, can't make it. Tries to bounce, can't make it. So I'm shorting even more share size right here. So my stop was there, then one half here, one half high of day. And now that we're moving back, I've got one half over this high right here, and the other half, I think, right over the support area, so not even the high of day anymore. And that allows me to kind of get 50% more share size and still risk the same dollar amount, if not less. So right away starts rolling over really, really tight right here, lower volume, and that proves to me there is a lot of weakness. So I should have added a bit more here. I didn't. And as soon as we crash back down, I took a partial right here because we were getting overextended. Volume was really kicking in, and usually that big volume leads to, a potential reversal. Especially at the time, 9 a.m., that's kind of the time where we start reversing. So if the stock spikes, usually starts consolidating or reversing a bit at 9 a.m. before the open. So that's why I covered a bit here. And then, still super weak, makes it down all the way to, $12, $13. Tries to pop at the open. I was thinking $16 to add back. We didn't get that. And, as soon as we slam back down on this candle, I was looking for potential big add basically to get a nice move into the $10 area, and that's what we got. So rejected, try to bounce, can't make it. It starts rolling over. I get in right here, some more bigger size now that we got some volume. Starts breaking down towards 12, and I take one half off right here. And now I'm thinking, all right, next bounce, I'm gonna add more size again, and I'm gonna cover into the next wash, basically taking the trade. That's what we got. We get a nice pop back into the kind of previous support area, which is now resistance at $13. I add some more. It opens from the halt area, right, and tries to pop, can't make it. So my stop was at that time the high of day here. I add back here, starts to move, can't make it, breaks down towards 12 again, and I take it all off, all right, for $17 per share with that recycling right here. So I got a nice 60% win out of it, 66%, I believe, somewhere around that, so $30 to $12, and you know, it made for a really, really nice trade. All right, that's it for today. If you have any questions about the video, please ask them in the comments. And if you're not subscribed, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. I'll see you in the next one.